see the walls were just waving from just total coverage of bugs.
It was absolutely shocking. They were everywhere.
It was a living nightmare 24/7.
If they're in our room, are they in our children's room?
The problem in our house exploded.
What do? Do you move out? Do you let them win?
3 different families fighting 3 different infestations. Home is a sanctuary, but invaders don't respect boundaries. Our 4 walls provide all they need to survive, to thrive, and to multiply. And when they move in, home will never feel the same again. In Halls, Tennessee, 4th-generation farmer Morgan Steelman is paying the price for a rural life.
When it first bit me, it felt like a knife just piercing into your arm.
I was very shocked. Morgan started running a high fever that night. I was worried what was going to happen.
A week ago, life was very different for the Steelman family. Morgan Steelman and his wife Sissy live with their 2 children in a house that's been in Morgan's family for over 100 years.
I was born here. Spent probably 80% of my life right here, living here in this house and on the farm. It does mean a lot just because it's family home.
As a farming family, the Steelmans are used to living alongside nature.
My father was a farmer, and I married a farmer, so I've always lived in a rural community, and it's just home to me.
But it also means living alongside a lot of insects.
I have always noticed the ladybugs here. It's usually every spring and every fall.
Twice a year, the farm is invaded inside and out.
Our formal living room has always attracted the ladybugs. It may be 100 in the floor, and I vacuum those up, and the next day it'll be just that many. It's an older home, so there's lots of cracks and crevices for them. I just felt like that was something that we dealt with being out in the country.
But not all invaders are as harmless as the ladybugs.
I just thought, oh, spider, you know, didn't think a lot about it. And tried to find it and kill it, and it got away.
It felt like a knife just piercing into your arm. I woke Sissy up and I said, I think I got bit by a spider. We looked at it and we saw the legs and figured it was a brown recluse because the legs was the spindly type.
Brown recluses are a venomous spider. They have very concentrated venom. You don't tend to die from brown recluses, but you know, for my money, it's the worst spider to be bitten by in the United States because there's no antidote and the effects can be fairly drastic. Brown recluses are dangerous. I'm an arachnologist and I worry about brown recluses.
I looked at his arm and it was red. I asked him, do you think if it was a brown recluse bite? I said, do you want to go to the emergency room?
I'm not really a big hospital going person. I can withstand a lot of pain. I felt like I could control it. I told her I'd just go downstairs. She likes her sleep, so I was gonna let her sleep.
Brown recluse spider venom is designed to dissolve its prey or liquefy its prey so that the spider can easily eat it. When it's injected into you, it will therefore dissolve your flesh.
So I kept sitting down there and the pain kept getting worse and worse. It came to 5 o'clock roughly in the morning. The swelling started getting hot. What got me was the black. And that's when I realized that I needed to do something.
Morgan's bite was probably the worst bite that I've seen.
We were in no way prepared. It was awful.
There's no antidote for brown recluse venom. Morgan's flesh is now dissolving, with no way to stop it. "600 miles away, in Dormont, Pennsylvania, Fred and Devon Weissert are enjoying life in the home they've owned for 10 years.
Our neighborhood is a very nice place to live. Most of the families are homeowners, so therefore it's a very close-knit community.
Everyone on the street takes pride in the community.
In my neighborhood, everyone looks out for each other. My neighbors cut our grass when our lawnmower didn't work. We all just work together.
But there's one home that isn't quite as well kept. And it's next door to the Weisserts.
The house next door is very run down. It's a landlord-tenant situation there. It's the worst house on the block.
Fred and Devon rarely see their neighbors, who keep to themselves.
They were kind of different. They didn't speak to anyone. I felt that their behavior was really a bit odd.
It's the end of summer, and the kids are enjoying the last of their vacation.
We just were ready for school to start and everything just to go into the new school year. I opened the dishwasher. I thought I saw something move in there. So I just kind of thought, that's nothing, you're just seeing things. Because why would there be anything in there?
The next day, the Weisserts learn something strange is going on in the neighborhood.
We were told by our neighbors that they were discovering bugs throughout their houses.
I thought about the flash in my dishwasher. I thought maybe I wasn't imagining something.
The next morning, Devon realizes she wasn't just seeing things.
There were bugs in my dishwasher.
You see one bug, there's hundreds of bugs somewhere else, and I'm not qualified to take care of that problem. I want it done right and get it done professionally.
They hire an exterminator who identifies the bugs as German cockroaches.
I was horrified. I didn't know anything about cockroaches. I'd never seen one.
German cockroaches are dirty insects because of the areas that they frequent. They're going to go into different areas like garbage and sewers. They could bring different pathogens, bacterias, viruses, and even allergens into your home.
The exterminator treats the house with a powerful insecticide.
They sprayed inside the perimeter of every room. It felt uneasy to know that I have this pesticide in my house, but I knew it was the only option.
But to really solve the problem, the Weisserts need to figure out where the roaches are coming from. Fred has suspicions about his unusual neighbors.
The family next door to us, they did leave a lot of garbage on the porch.
They take a closer look.
There was just bugs crawling all over the garbage bags. We were shocked, dismayed, and just sickened to our stomachs that this problem has come to our neighborhood.
Living alongside nature is a way of life for fourth-generation farmer Morgan Steelman. But he never imagined country life would be dangerous. He's been bitten by a brown recluse spider.
The venom of the brown recluse spider has enzymes in it. In very rare cases, can cause severe tissue damage, including loss of the ability to clot blood, tissue edema, meaning swelling of the body, and fluid in the lungs, which left untreated can be fatal.
If you had an ice pick and you jabbed it in your arm, you could compare that to the bite of that brown recluse.
Just hours after the bite, Morgan is suffering the severe effects of the spider's venom, and his doctor is worried.
There is no established treatment. So what we usually have to do is just normal wound care, treat infection, treat pain, and just wait.
Brown recluses are the exception to the rule with arachnophobia because most spiders you don't have to be scared of. Brown recluses, you need to be scared of these. They can bite and they can do you a lot of harm.
A week later, Morgan's wound is slowly healing. But the bite has left more than a physical mark.
People don't realize what you go through after you get bit. You do not crawl in a bed without checking the sheets.
Now Morgan and Sissy are worried that the one that bit him may not be alone.
I felt like if they're in our room, are they in our children's room? I could not deal with one of my children suffering with the way Morgan had suffered with it.
Children are really vulnerable to the bites of a brown recluse spider. The spider does not know who he's biting, and he will inject the same amount of venom whether it's a newborn baby or a 140-pound man. If you're living in a home that's infested with brown recluse spiders, especially if there are small children involved, that is not a safe situation to remain in.
My worst fear would be something, one of them biting the children, the kids. I couldn't stand it because, you know, you just don't want that to happen to nobody.
We have to have help. So at that point, I decided to call pest control.
The exterminator suspects the spiders have found a favorite hiding place somewhere within the house. And the attic could be the perfect spot.
The reason they're called brown recluses is because they are reclusive. In your house, they will hide out in areas that you never look at, like up in attics, in basements, behind bookcases. There might be hundreds of brown recluses, but you often never see them.
We had lots of things in the attic and lots of things we didn't need. No, you don't want to get rid of it, so you put it in the attic.
Brown recluse spiders are everywhere.
Then we started all getting paranoid.
Females have usually about 50 eggs to an egg sac. A female can lay multiple egg sacs. You know how fast rabbits reproduce, right? I mean, rabbits only have, you know, what, about 7, 8 babies to a litter? Well, these guys have 50. And if they're doing it every year, it doesn't take very long for a population to grow without without any kind of limit to a very large number.
At that point on, I started to where I would not go up in the attic without shoes on. I wanted long sleeves on. Made sure I had long pants on. Sometimes I would even tuck my pants in my socks, that I just felt like I did not want a spider getting in my clothes. And there was not a box that I stuck my hand in or looked for something that I did not look for spiders first.
The exterminator fogs the attic with pesticide that he hopes will get into all cracks and crevices.
We thought, okay, we've had treatment, we can rest easy, something's been done about the spiders. She started screaming, "There's a spider." I did not have any idea how many spiders that we had until you literally see them running across your room.
College student Patrick Kelly is moving back home.
I decided to go home because I spent all of my school money on my rent because I couldn't find a job while I was up there.
Patrick's father Mike and his sister Jennifer are helping him move.
We brought all of his bedding home and all of his clothes and his dresser and his computer.
But there's one thing Jennifer doesn't want in the house.
We decided to leave his mattress behind. It was really gross.
She was like, "You're not taking this home." And so then she told my dad, and he's like, "No, just throw it away."
With his mattress thrown out, Patrick makes a temporary bed on his college couch.
All my friends were like, "Man, that's the most comfortable couch I've ever sat on."
The Kelly family's Georgia home is a big change from their life back in Chicago.
Moving from Chicago, where there's cold winter, you don't have a lot of bugs throughout the year, to down to the south where there's plenty of bugs, it was kind of a shock for the rest of my family.
Although Jennifer's son Shane isn't bothered by bugs, she's not so comfortable.
We live in the woods, so we've got bugs coming in our house on a regular basis.
Her mom Nancy shares her unease.
This was overwhelming for me. There were too many insects.
In the weeks after Patrick's return, Jen notices something strange in her bed.
Even though I'm used to bugs, I know when something is unusual. It just didn't look like anything I had seen before.
She trawls the internet to identify the bug.
To me, it looked like a tick or something similar to that.
The next day, Jen shares her discovery with Patrick.
He was like, "Oh, I've seen those before. I just flicked one off of my computer." And I was like, "What? Where?"
I started noticing like strange bugs around my room. I didn't really think anything major of it.
I was just completely in disbelief with him that he didn't tell anybody.
It's not long before there's evidence of some kind of blood-sucking bug inside the house.
I started to get bit. It's unsettling to know that something is biting you while you're sleeping in your bed.
Mike is not convinced Jen is being bitten by anything unusual.
It was the end of summer. There were mosquitoes out, and I just kept telling her, no, those are just mosquito bites or the occasional ant bite because we have a lot of ants on our property.
Jen is adamant that there's something strange inside the house. So Mike decides to put her fears to rest.
I decided to go ahead and call an exterminator out because Jenny was very upset about it.
The exterminator has some questions.
He had asked if Pat had been away or been traveling.
Once I had told him that I had been sleeping on the couch, that was, he was like, well, we gotta check that couch.
It was absolutely shocking, horrific, and gross. They were everywhere.
The exterminator has bad news.
And that's when he told us, oh yeah, you got an infestation of bed bugs.
In Tennessee, the Steelman family's 100-year-old farmhouse is infested with dangerous brown recluse spiders. Morgan has already been bitten.
Probably shot my blood pressure right out the top of my head. I didn't want to have another spider around me.
The Steelman's exterminator has already tried bug bombing the attic, but it hasn't worked. The threat to Morgan's family is making life unbearable.
He said, I just want to burn the house down. He said, that's the only way to get rid of them.
The thing about brown recluses in houses is they do seem to be hard to get rid of, especially when there's a lot of them. Pesticides don't seem to work very well. It's just hard to get the pesticides into the place where the main mass of spiders is living.
Seeing no alternative, the Steelmans pack up to stay with relatives.
I felt completely evicted by the spiders. We had to leave because they were crawling everywhere.
Sometimes when we face extreme infestations, abandoning your home may seem like the only solution. While this is an extreme circumstance, it may seem like the only option that's left.
What do you do? Do you move out? Do you let them win?
This is my husband's great-grandparents' home, and it has been our home for 30 years. We decided we're staying.
The Steelmans refuse to give up the fight. They call back the exterminator to investigate. This time, he notices the ladybugs in the living room.
He said when the brown recluse come out, they're searching for food, and they will eat those bugs.
You need to think of the house as an ecosystem. So what are the spiders eating? They're eating bugs. And that population of prey is what is making for the really big population of spiders.
I did not realize that the ladybugs were attracting the brown recluse.
The ladybugs are a plentiful food source, and the attic is a perfect hiding place.
The pest control people said everything has to be moved out of your attic.
I was ready to do whatever we needed to do. We moved all the stuff that was upstairs that we accumulated for the last 15 years and throwed it away.
When the purge is complete, the house is coated with insecticide.
They didn't see any other option.
With repeat treatments, the number of spiders begins to decline.
you realize that this is going to be an ongoing problem.
It's a full-time assault. Between treatments, the Steelmans use glue boards to catch any stragglers.
You've got to do whatever you can to try to keep them under control. Any spider that's on that glue board is not biting and it's not breeding.
If you do have a brown recluse infestation, probably the best way to find out how serious the situation is to use glue traps. That'll tell you just the number of spiders per glue trap per, say, month of exposure will give you a good idea of how many spiders there are.
You get yourself in a different mode of dealing in your home with, there's not anything that I touch, not any closet that I open and get something out of, any drawer that I take something out of, any closet that I open and take out clothes. We shake them, we look at them, there's not anything that I don't feel like, is there a spider on this? Still today.
Morgan needs no reminding of the damage a recluse can do.
There's still no feeling here. It'll always look this way. And that is from a little brown recluse bite.
In the parts of the country where brown recluses are common, it often happens that all the houses for miles around have at least some brown recluses in them. And it may be that their range is getting a little larger as things get sort of warmer and wetter. We don't actually know. So it could be that their range is expanding. It's probably more that they occur in places where we haven't documented them yet.
Despite the risks, the Steelmans are determined that life must go on.
We have raised our children here, so it's very important for me that it has to stay within the family. This is the Steelman home place.
Back in Pennsylvania, the Weissert family are confronting a major cockroach problem on their doorstep.
We were shocked, dismayed, and just sickened to our stomachs.
The problem is spreading from the Weisserts' next-door neighbors.
We had to contact the local authorities to get the landlord to do his job. He's a bad landlord, and without their interaction, we couldn't resolve the problem.
While waiting for the health department to act, the Weisserts' only defense against the roaches is pesticide. But it's a losing battle.
If we're having pest control handle our house, it's just firefighting. We needed actual action on the root source of the problem.
And that's the house next door. The problem neighbors are evicted, but they leave filth in their wake.
The mess that they left on the front porch was horrendous. There were cockroaches climbing all over everything on that porch. And it was just horrible.
Fred and Devon get their first look inside and are shocked by what they find.
And we could see the walls and the floor just waving from just total coverage of bugs. There was like a river of bugs just flying out of there.
With the supply of food from the neighbors now gone, the roaches are on the move.
Even in the middle of a cycle with water running and swishing around, I see a cockroach. I said, that is it. I told my husband, I am taking apart this dishwasher right here and now.
German cockroaches tend to be attracted to electrical appliances due to the heat that they actually produce. And if you throw food into the equation, you can see why a dishwasher would be a really attractive place for a cockroach. You have heat provided by the electricity, you have food provided by all the different dishes that are inside of it, and you have a great environment for cockroaches to hide.
We found different stages of these bugs, from tiny little black dots to full-grown brown German cockroaches.
I realized that an egg must have just hatched, and there were baby cockroaches all through the dishwasher.
German cockroaches have an amazing ability to reproduce extremely fast. For instance, one significant cockroach infestation could be responsible for just short of 9 million eggs and roaches in just under a year.
It is sickening. That was a terrible, terrible day.
The problem in our house exploded.
The roaches have now made their new home in the Weisserts' kitchen, and they're breeding out of control.
I felt angry that something I did not do is destroying my family, destroying my home, and I had nothing I could do in my power to fix it.
College student Patrick Kelly and his family have just discovered a colony of bedbugs in his bedroom couch.
We figured that Pat had to be the source of bringing the bugs into the house.
It's a very common occurrence these days for college students to go away to college and then end up bringing bedbugs home with them.
I was really just trying to hide my guilt about the whole situation.
Patrick's sister Jennifer has already been bitten.
Knowing that you have these things crawling in your bed and biting you while you're sleeping is really, really unsettling.
Bedbugs are really the ultimate pest. All bedbugs need to survive is blood. They're going to come out of a crack at night and they're going to insert their mouth parts and withdraw blood from your actual body.
The Kellys decide to throw the couch out to prevent the bedbugs from spreading.
Even though there were 3 of us, it was a very heavy couch.
We had to go through the whole house to get it out, so we went down the stairs and through the living room and out the front door with it.
Mike is confident the exterminator will have the bedbugs on the run.
Yeah, after he was done spraying, to me it was over with. Once you spray insecticide, it's going to kill the bugs and you're done. You're free.
The family tries to move on, but Jen can't shake her fears.
I was trying to put it out of my head. I still have the creepy, crawly, itchy feelings. It was dead, and it was full of blood. It was red, and it was just absolutely awful, gross.
When you spray, afterwards you always find the bugs dead somewhere.
Jen is not convinced they've seen the last of the bedbugs.
They just thought that it would just go away and that I didn't need to worry about it.
I didn't share Jenny's level of anxiety at that point.
Jen is fueling her fears online.
I was reading blog after blog after blog, and that made it probably 1,000,000 times worse. Just everything that I read was, we can't get rid of them. you know, people have mental issues because of it, and I'm at war with bed bugs. It kind of turned into one of those things that's always in the back of your mind, the nagging feeling that this problem's not gonna go away and we're gonna be stuck with this forever, because that's the way everybody else was. I was very paranoid. And I always felt like I was looking for something microscopic.
Jenny had gone a little overboard on the cleaning, and I was getting very concerned about what she was doing. And to me, it was getting a little ridiculous to go that far.
I was mad at my dad. I was mad. I couldn't believe that he wasn't trying to fix it. It just seemed like he didn't care.
But the next morning, Jen has the proof she needs.
I started to get the bites. They were on my arms, and I was quite surprised.
The bites mean the bed bugs are still in the house.
At this point, Jen had started to find more and more bed bugs.
We started to clean all the time.
Every piece of furniture in the house is flipped over and inspected.
It was very exhausting. It would go on till about 1 o'clock in the morning. Then we'd get a few hours of sleep, and then it'd start all over again.
Jen examines the underside of the living room couch. The springs are teeming with bugs.
The number of bed bugs that we saw on the couch was shocking. Now this problem is everywhere in our house. There is not a safe place anymore.
When people find bed bugs in their home, a common knee-jerk reaction is to start throwing different pieces of furniture away. The issue with that, though, is if you don't do it carefully, you can end up spreading bed bugs throughout your house as you carry those pieces of furniture out to the garbage.
Taking the couch out of the house the way that we did was not the best idea. I now realize that maybe a few fell off.
When we discovered that the bugs were in the living room couch, I just became very dismayed and distraught, because I knew that the bugs had spread through the whole house.
I was at this point, with Nancy being bitten, Jennifer having been bitten, and finding the bed bugs in the couch, where I finally decided I've got to take this more serious than I've been doing. And that's when I started doing my research into bed bugs.
Mike Kelly has been dismissing the problem, but now the tables have turned.
I knew at that point I really had to jump into this and really change my attitude about it.
The family has already tried cleaning day and night and hiring exterminators to spray, but neither has worked.
Bed bugs don't react to the pesticides that we have available to us today like they used to, and so pesticides on bed bugs may not be as effective as we first thought.
Mike explores a new option: heat.
Heat treatment is one of the most effective treatment options we have for bed bugs. You're going to heat an entire house up to 120 degrees or hotter, and that's going to kill all the bugs and their eggs in a very short amount of time.
But the treatment is not cheap.
After getting the quote for doing the whole house heating, I knew that that was way more money than I wanted to spend.
With the stakes high, Mike enlists Patrick's help with an ambitious plan to build a massive oven chamber inside the basement.
The plan was that we were going to take everything that wasn't nailed down or screwed down in our house and put it in that chamber and heat it all up to kill the bed bugs.
The Kellys worked for days, shifting every item in the house into the giant oven.
A do-it-yourself approach to heat treatment may not be advisable. When you have excessive temperatures and large amounts of electricity, it can be a dangerous combination inside your house.
Not everyone's convinced it's the right idea.
What I wanted was professionals to come in, so it didn't make me happy that we were going to be doing it ourselves.
As she gathers the last of their belongings, a news story catches Jen's attention.
On the radio, I'd heard that they were talking about bedbug sniffing dogs.
Dogs have long been used to detect the presence of bombs, drugs, and other different items. They've also now been trained to detect the presence of bedbugs.
When I heard it, I was like, we need that.
The sniffer dogs will determine if the heat treatment has killed all the bugs in the house.
Bedbugs are fast becoming America's biggest nightmare. Tonight, we're going to meet a Metro Atlanta family who was forced to face the horror of bedbugs in their home.
The Kellys have agreed to let a news team accompany the sniffer dogs to their home. But what they find is not good.
The dogs scratch. Bad news. Bedbugs are still everywhere in the Kellys' home.
The Kellys are devastated.
At that point, I really thought that we were never going to get rid of the bedbugs.
The dogs have located bedbugs in parts of the house that the family can't reach.
What people fail to realize is that bedbugs spread beyond furniture and will actually get into cracks and crevices in different areas of the home itself. And so you usually need to expand your control beyond the furniture into the actual structure of the home.
I decided we needed to basically mount a major operation.
The family spends days steaming every crack and treating every crevice with special bedbug targeting chemicals.
We worked from the time we woke up till the time we went to bed.
The Kellys have completed their mission. The dogs are now inspecting the house for a second time.
If we thought the first time was emotional, the second time was very emotional on the girls because they just were praying like crazy that the bugs were gone.
Finally, the moment of truth. It's good news. The house is bedbug free.
I was strutting around like a rooster in heaven, you know? There's times when it amazes you that such a little creature can cause you such worry and emotional conflict.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I'm glad it's over.
When dealing with an infestation, understanding our enemy is the most important part of eliminating it from our homes. But unfortunately, we are occasionally infested by an enemy that we don't understand, which makes eliminating them very challenging.
Back in Dormont, Pennsylvania, the Weissert family home is far from bug-free. A neighboring abandoned house has unleashed a massive roach infestation.
Many people asked me, why don't you just move out? And I thought, I can't leave here and know that no one's here to get these cockroaches out of here.
The roaches inside their home now pose a serious health risk to the Weisserts.
They're in your bathroom and they're crawling across your toilet, and then they crawl onto your plate, and you eat that fecal matter from the cockroach feet. You can get things like typhoid fever, or hepatitis, or salmonella, or dysentery.
The Weisserts refuse to give up and call the exterminator back in.
He had said it was the worst cockroach infestation he had ever seen in his 20-year career.
And it isn't just the Weissert home suffering. A plague of roaches is spreading across the neighborhood.
17 houses in our community had found a cockroach in their homes, so everyone was very alarmed, but we had the brunt of it.
If a cockroach infestation has grown to the point that cockroaches are spilling into a street from an infested home, it's extremely challenging to eliminate that infestation.
In 2007, a homeowner in Ohio filmed a similar cockroach infestation in a condemned house. It was so severe that the building had to be demolished. At Fred and Devon's house, the problem is spreading.
It was a living nightmare 24/7. Didn't matter if it was daytime or nighttime, the bugs were everywhere.
It felt like the invasion of the cockroaches. It felt like anywhere you turned, there was gonna be one.
As German cockroach infestations grow, they can infest all different types of places, including your plumbing. They can actually get inside the plumbing chases, the pipes themselves, and they'll reproduce perfectly fine in those environments and come out to feed as they need.
But the Weisserts refuse to give up. Fred and Devon go in search of the roaches' way into the house.
I noticed around my tool area and paint area that there was bugs everywhere. I couldn't understand how they were getting in.
Fred heads outside to look for an entrance point.
I went outside in between the two houses, right next to the problem house.
Pipes and cracks are giving the roaches easy access into the Weisserts' home.
These bugs have a way to get into our house. They found a way to get in.
Fred seals up every potential entry point. The family then pays for months of further pesticide treatments. Finally, the roaches start to disappear.
It was like a nightmare that we never slept through. And from being so tired of fighting these problems, we just realized that the bugs weren't here anymore.
Came to an end in my mind the next summer after, like a year later. You know, the house next door was rented, it was redone. And I felt like, okay, you know, I guess it's over now.
They were finally gone, and we won.